We are now.
Hi. Wow. We just got done with the last video, the animals. I hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't get to see it, you could probably, scroll back and find it somewhere. Um, Again, my show is coming up. Unless this is after September 10th, I might, keep showing these videos for a while. But if it's before September 10th, I hope I get to see you at the opening in Beechwood. It's Fairmont and Richmond Roads. So, it's from 5 to 8 and September 10th, and I will have available a companion book for $10 that you can purchase right there, and take that book with you, and look at my paintings, and the paintings from the other artists are not in there. But I'm the only one, I guess, that has like the little artist statements that are important to me, and so that's why I created that book. Well, I thought it might be kind of fun to figure out where I began with this whole little contemporary thing. I mean, as you saw the last time I showed you the animals, and I was doing pencil and I was doing color pencil, not a whole lot of painting. And so I met this artist from Greece, and he was at a, believe it or not, he was at, I don't know if it was a boat show or something. He was at some kind of show, one of those expo type things. And Don and I were, wandering around, and of course, I had my cell phone on me, and we saw this art show, and we immediately, went over there, and Don's, saying, "Show them your art, show them your art," and we were looking at his art, and his art was amazing. He did a lot of underwater scenes. He was a scuba diver. Anyway, so Don's telling me, she's an artist. You got to see her art. You got to, tell them about your art. So they were nice enough to say, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's see your art." And I pulled out my phone and showed them my art that I had so far, mostly the animals, the color pencil. And at that time, I was taking a class from someone from California online, and I was not having a good time. I mean, she was a good teacher, but she also had, there was a rough side to her. Anyway, so not to be negative, he said that I should come and have an appointment and show him my work that I have so far, and so I went into his studio, and I was adamant that I was a color pencil artist at that point. So he said, "Well, that's fine," and he looked at my work, and he evaluates people for where they're at. And most people that go into his studio, they're usually pretty young. Um, Not that I'm that old, but they're usually, like high school, sometimes even elementary school, or, other, adult ages, all different people. If they're just starting out in art, he starts them out with pencil. Well, I showed him my pencil, and he goes, "Well, you got that down." Then I showed him my color pencils. And he said, "Well, you're doing well with that. You should try oil." "No, I'm a color pencil artist." "Well, maybe someday you'll like oil." I thought, well, maybe someday. Well, I'm taking his classes, and I'm doing some different things, in color pencil. And then he has what he called a master class. In the master class, he's focusing in on one little thing, and he's very good. Anyway, he's from Greece, and he has this wonderful accent, and his wife, and they're wonderful people. Anyway, so I started playing around with my color pencils, and I wasn't getting the same effect as he was getting with his oils. And I went, "Oh, I'm going to try your oils a little bit." So they gave me a little, a brush and some oils, and I started playing with the oils, and I thought, this is a lot different than when I took it in, at Kent as an undergrad. So so I started playing with the oils a little bit, and I started liking it. Well, I actually did take an oil painting portrait class with another artist up here, Dino Masseroni, all those Italians, Anyway, I told Paul is his name. I told him that I'd like to do oil and I want to do a portrait. "Oh, no, no, no. Portrait, no, no, no. You can't do portrait for your first oil. You do something easy. Show me a picture of something easy." Well, I pulled out my phone and I showed him, I took a picture of this little girl and I'd like to do a painting of her. Oh, portraits and people. Oh, you know, figures, and not just that, but portraits. Anyway, this was my first oil. So here we have this little girl that I met at a ballet, and the only thing is that, you know, I kind of listened to whatever he said, but we have this outlet. Where's the outlet at? We have this outlet on the wall. It needed something there, so he made me put an outlet there. Other than that, I'm okay with it. And I could take the outlet out. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I could make a shadow there, but now that the outlet's there, I'm leaving it there. And then I invented this stuff. This was not there, but it needed something there, so I put that there. And then, of course, you know, working with the different textures of her jacket and the dress and her oversized gloves. You know, this was a little girl that their mom and dad really kind of pampered her. And so she was all dressed up for her first ballet. So, and I call it dress rehearsal. So this was my first one, and I have the original, and it's framed beautifully. Dina is Paul's husband, Paul's wife, and Dina does framing. So frames by Dina. So then I did a few other paintings in between there and did some figure classes and did some studying, and we started to talk about marketing. And, you know, nobody's really, well, not that there's not a big market for realism. Not as much as you would think. I mean, a lot of people like realism in terms of landscapes, or realism in maybe still lifes, you know, flowers and vases of fruit and stuff like that, but they don't speak. And so we went to Art Miami, which is a really big, huge international show. And it swings around in different, I think now might be in Japan now. I'm not sure where it went, you know, art, but it's a big thing that happens once a year. So anyway, lots and lots of thinking and making some discoveries from painting and trying to become a little bit more contemporary. So I started out with this one. So this was my fiddler, and he really liked that I was, you know, steering away from realism, and now I'm challenged with composition and color and movement, which is a lot different than working from a photograph. You know, when you're working from a photograph, all the information is there, although I did add some of the other elements. This I had to not rely on realism, rely on just color and line and shape and movement and rhythm and all of that. So that was the beginning. And then I did this one, which has, you know, the same kind of movement and color. And we're getting kind of excited that I'm getting closer to where I have a style. And then he says, this one, he said, I nailed it. This is the one that really speaks to my style, and for different reasons, because of the shapes and the way that I deal with the background. So then as I began to explore that, I have noticed that I am drawn to dancing and celebrating. So most of my paintings then became some form of dance or some sort of celebration. And so this one also, and then I started adding pianos, hiding pianos in my paintings for my mom. My mom was a pianist. Well, then I started to add more figures and more symbolism in the background, and the stories became even more important to me. So this one is sold. This was a large one, and you've got the dancers here, and then all kinds of symbolism and everything happening in the background, and I'm starting to turn things. And there's my piano in the background. Then I have this one, which is another dance, and this happens to be reminiscent of a wedding dress, a wedding. And from that wedding, I came up with the storyline of time to say goodbye. But this, what does that song really mean? That song means that you say goodbye to the life that you're in now and hello to the next chapter in your life. So this painting is, with you I shall leave, no longer as a single person, but now as a married person. And in the background is symbolism of all the things that they will have in their future. This was inspired by my niece and at her wedding. So that's one of the, actually grandniece, I don't know, I think grandniece. Then this is the last one I'm sharing with you today. This one is That Splendid Night. And again, I have the dancers and the couple and the sharing of that love and that relationship. And now as I say that, I'm thinking about how that relationship, that bond between, you know, a loving couple, I had that. I had that fairy tale. So I hope you get to see the show. I have really grown from this to, you know, many more. Well, ciao for now. Bye-bye.